Our next concept is talking about proportions. And with proportions, there are many ways to solve a proportion. However, in algebra, we're going to practice cross multiplication. The reason is because we're going to have binomials sometimes. What's a binomial? Two terms. So here's the steps that we're going to use to solve. Our first step is we're going to cross multiply. And remember, cross multiply means we multiply A times D, and then we set it equal to B times C. That's cross multiplication. We'll go over that in a second. Step 2 is we're going to distribute if needed. And then 3 brings us back to one two-step equation, so we're going to solve. And step 4, we're going to check it. Okay, so if you look at number 1, just some vocabulary for you. 4 and 6 are called extremes. In geometry, you'll get to that term. But it's extremes. This one's on the top left, this one's on the bottom right. They're far apart from each other. And the ones in the middle, these guys are called the means. So you have extremes, and then we're going to multiply it by the means. Okay? I don't want to see that dot there. So we're going to multiply our extremes times our means. So my extremes are going to be 4 times 6 equals 3 times x, which is 3x. So I get 24 equals 3x, divide both sides by 3, and I get x equals 8. Now, to check it, here's how you check it. You just plug it in. You can check it a couple of ways, okay? I think the easiest way to check it is to make sure if you multiplied your extremes, 4 times 6, that should equal the product of the means. 3 times 8 is 24. To me, that's the easiest way to check. You can also reduce both fractions and see if they're the same. So 4/3 you can't reduce, but 8/6 does reduce to 4/3, and 4/3 equals 4/3, and it checks out. Okay, so either way you want to do it. Let's do another example. Now, your first step when you have a proportion is if you have a binomial, which we've talked about endlessly in class, a binomial is 2 terms. If you have a binomial, you must put parentheses around it. Before you do anything, that's what I'm going to be looking for. Did you put parentheses around your binomial? Why? Because it tells you, oh, I then need to do the distributive property. So now, I'm going to multiply my extremes first. Remember, your extremes are located top left, bottom right. So I'm going to multiply my extremes, and I'm going to multiply 2 times n plus 5, distributive property. And I'm going to set that equal to the means. 10 times 4 is 40. Now, I have an equation that I can solve. I use the distributive property, 2n plus 10 equals 40. Subtract 10 on both sides, additive inverse, and then I get 2n equals 30, and then n equals 15. So again, check your answer. So I have 2 over 10 equals 4 over 15 is n, so 15 plus 5 is 20. Now, to check, I'm going to multiply my extremes. 2 times 20 is 40, and then I'm going to multiply my means. 10 times 4, and I get 40. 40 does equals 40. Don't know why it's not writing. There we go. It checks out. So n has to be 15. That's my true answer, okay? All right, let's take a look at number 4. All right, so you've got binomials in 2 positions. First step, put parentheses around your binomials. I'm going to put them here, and I'm going to put them here. I'm going to multiply my extremes first. So 5 is a constant term. It's one term. I'm going to put that in front of my binomial. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 2k minus 3. And I'm going to set that equal to my means, which is 3 times k plus 9. Okay? So now I'm going to do the distributive property. I get 10k minus 15 equals 3k plus 27. I bring my variable term to the left. So I get 7k minus 15 equals 27. I add 15, additive inverse to both sides, and I get 7k equals 42. Divide by 7, and I get k equals 6. I'm going to check my answers on these, and it's not hard to check it. You just go back in, you plug in 6 for k. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. So that's going to be my extreme on the top left. And then 6 plus 9 is 15. Why is it doing that? I don't know. 15. And I set that equal to 3 over 5. So I've just plugged everything in. Now I'm going to multiply my extremes. 9 times 5 is 45. 15 times 3, my means, is 45. It checks out, so I know k has to be 6. So those are the examples of proportions. Your main step is put parentheses before you do anything. If it's a binomial, put parentheses around that. If you need help, come see me.